for things to get to me. And that helps me be more patient. Buenos días a todos.
Buenos días.
Did you see the ass of the bird?
I was going to ask if that was the one from yesterday.
Exactly. I tried to picture, to take a picture, but he looked the other way and gave me the detail. So that was funny, but he was there. I don't know what business he has around there because he's frequent.
Okay. Leo la lección.
Got it.
I'll read the lesson.
Sí.
We're on 330. Hoy no volveré a hacerme daño. Aceptemos hoy que el perdón es nuestra única función. ¿Por qué atacar nuestras mentes y ofrecerles imágenes de dolor? ¿Por qué enseñarles que son impotentes cuando Dios les ofrece su poder y su amor y las invita a servirse de lo que ya es suyo? La mente que ha llegado a estar dispuesta a aceptar los dones de Dios ha sido restaurada al espíritu y extiende su libertad y su dicha tal como dispone la voluntad de Dios unida a la suya propia. El ser que Dios creó no puede pecar, por lo tanto no puede sufrir. Elijamos hoy que Él sea nuestra identidad para poder así escapar para siempre de todas las cosas que el sueño de miedo parece ofrecernos. Padre, es imposible hacerle daño a tu hijo, y si queremos sufrir, es solo porque no reconocemos la única identidad que compartimos contigo. Hoy queremos retornar a ella a fin de liberarnos para siempre de todos nuestros errores y salvarnos de lo que creíamos ser. Hoy no volveré a hacerme daño.
Fabuloso.
Esa fue muy buena, Fabi, esta mañana. That was a great one for this morning when I woke up. I didn't read the whole thing, I just read the title. I woke up and I was like, ah. Oh, yeah, la cabeza, I had a headache and I read that and I'm like, okay, reset.
Sí. Reset.
So how's your back, Gary?
Say that again, please.
How is your back?
My back. My back is okay. My leg it was active last night. I got
What
up
muscle? Is it the sciatica?
I don't think so. It could be. I don't know. I've never had sciatica before, but it runs from my butt cheek all the way down to my little toe.
That's sciatica.
That's sciatica.
You have it. you cannot say anymore that you haven't had it.
Yeah.
Now it's yours for forgiveness.
Yeah, so I just sit on a heating pad a lot and try to stretch it a little bit.
Are you stretching? Twisting your leg to one side and your torso to the other.
See?
That's the best one.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was up at 2 doing that.
Yeah. I had a period that pain took me to a chiropractor when I was younger, like 20 years younger. And then that same shit took me to yoga. I started doing yoga and then teaching yoga because of that. But then eventually it went away, so I stopped doing whatever I was doing because there was no motivation for it anymore.
No.
But in the meantime, that's good. And if you're practicing your inner forgiveness at the same time, knowing that that is not a body thing, it's just your mind projecting pain. And yeah, you had a question about forgiveness, did you?
I did. So the story right? The story that sets pieces in motion was yesterday. I went over to see some friends of mine, and there was a couple of chat texts exchanged before I went over. And so when I show up, we're chatting for, 10, 15 minutes or so. And then this woman, Karina, says, oh, yeah, and their son, Talon, his girlfriend has COVID. Right? That's what she says. And then...
Most surely he will have it too.
What's that?
That most surely he would have it too.
And they were visiting down there, and they were visiting him and her and all this, right?
Okay, nice subject.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a current one too. It's
everywhere.
At least it's as current as ego can make it. So I'm sitting there, and she's like, yeah, and we're waiting for our test results. Now,
and you're there. And you're there. Could you have said that before I got here, so you will give me the chance for me to decide whether I'm going to be here or not?
This was just a social visit. This is not like, we're going to be talking funeral plans for, it's just like, so I'm sitting there like, wow. So now the mind starts getting really active.
Exactly.
And it's drawing up stories about lack of respect and, just all, whatever it can reach into its bag of tricks and pull out.
I know.
So my question...
Went to a minefield. It was a minefield.
It was a minefield for sure. And so and of course, again, at 2:00, I wake up because this now diagnosed sciatica is affecting a spot in my calf, and now I'm awake, and this story starts to really take hold. And so I can sit there on my heating pad at 2 a.m, and I can ask for forgiveness. I can ask for forgiveness of myself, the thoughts, this kind of came up yesterday. It seems that the words just don't have the potency. They don't have the truth behind them. No. And so how does one who's caught in story engage in forgiveness in a way that's real?
No, you say help.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Help.
I want to...
Somebody help me.
I want to share that I just got a message from somebody. I want to preserve their
false identity.
An identity. They just sent me a message of the message that they received, that they have a negative result for COVID. They were waiting for the test, and it just came in when you started to talk about that.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, those trying times, you just surrender. It's not the words. It's the desire. It's the desire in the mind to ask for help because you cannot deal with what you're having in the moment. All of a sudden you get some practice in it and you get results that you can see and appreciate. And then the words convey whatever experience you had that bring you the conviction.
Right.
So you will have to trust, to surrender, to wait, to be patient, to be conscious about all, that this is not a sciatica, this is not some people that are unconsiderate and blah, 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 is that you are choosing not to experience your divinity in the moment. It's as simple as that. Once you recognize it, ¿verdad? Entonces, you will recognize it, but then you will still be having ego thoughts.
Yeah.
Because they don't stop. Once they get you, they don't let go. Entonces, you have to see them one by one, and choose consciously, to ally with the Holy Spirit in asking, let me see this differently. Because when you say, no, I see this and I want to forgive it, what the ego does, that is already making the thing real. And that keeps you rooted in the pain and in the judgments. When you recognize that nothing that you're seeing means anything because there's nothing that you can understand because you're trying to come from a position of divinity, and divinity doesn't understand anything of this, but it's still feeling the pain. It's still thinking the thoughts. And that's where the cry for help is that. It's not take this out of my mind, it's show me what I am, really. And it will take some levels and some situations for you to take you to a place of trust that you can remember things like what you send in the message. And it will convey to you the experience that you already have. And that brings immediate results. Because the mind already has made the connection.
Sí.
And by the way, when you post something in the moron, it doesn't, ¿cómo se llama? Sound for me.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, I see it because Astrid always answers you.
Ah.
And I hear Astrid ding. And then when I go, mira lo que puso este. Yeah, I like Rilke. I have read Rilke's book.
You have what?
Poetry, Rilke.
Oh, yeah.
Raina Maria Rilke.
Raina Maria, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you saw the piece on forgiveness that I sent this morning too, from
the course, yeah.
No, yeah, it was from the course.
I must have choose wrongly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you see it, it starts with the recognition that this is mine.
Right. Yeah.
And what I'm feeling is mine too. Not because what I'm feeling is real, because it's just because I choose wrongly. That's the first recognition, right there.
I was reading from the Disappearance of the Universe this morning, the Ego's Plan, and it was also, I mean, there was one line here that in the course of the conversation where Gary says, the people who give me trouble, I want them to show up. Right? I'm like, yeah, why? And then I start thinking about the people in my life where forgiveness has been a bit of a challenge. And I think, yeah, that's all I want them to do is just show up. Right? Which then frees me up.
Exactly. From making
the scapegoats.
Exactly. Everything here is a scapegoat.
Yeah.
But then when the spirit takes charge by your own asking for help, and you don't have to be desperate to wait to ask for help. Of course, this is the change that we are talking about, the mind training. Is that you don't have to be fucked up to be asking for help, because you already are asking for help all the time. But when that happens, everything changes around, because what the Holy Spirit does in your mind is that use what you used to be a scapegoat as a reminder of what is really going on, and bringing you to peace immediately with whatever is happening. Because eventually with the practice, you will start to lose your mind enough from the concepts that you will literally be okay with experiencing that you're not this body, and the people that are around you are just thoughts in the mind too. because that actually makes them easier to recognize as the Christ.
So does that mean then that from that place of the Holy Spirit there and seeing them as just my own thoughts, that if I were to reach out to them and in as a loving way as I possibly can, remind them that
At first, that is impossible because you're still too bound to the ego. You think that you're trying to do something good, but what you're really still trying is to make them motherfucker guilty. And
Well,
it
they
will
are.
happen, it will happen for a long time.
So you just
Yeah.
don't say anything. You just
That's
don't
the
say anything.
That's the problem that I have with the letter that I want to send to my cousin. I can't do it because every time I do it, I see that it's still me trying to
Right.
correct him. It's still me trying to tell him
Grow
get
up
mixed
or
up in like the morality of the world and trying to get him to see
yeah.
the wrong, you know, even it doesn't matter how I say it because the ego just grabs all the coarse words and uses it as an attack. So then for me, it's an exercise of writing it out and just looking at it and throwing it away and saying, no, it's not clean. Knowing that it's not clean, it's just an exercise. And knowing that it's just for me, I'm not doing anything for anybody. But the ego still thinks that I need to do something.
But that's okay. That's the first stage, you know? Because you can, whatever you have been doing with non-duality, in a way, it was different. So
Yeah.
when you recognize it and you feel comfortable talking about it, your experience has not changed enough to show you that you're a mind and not that body. But if you keep on practicing, that will be the end result. And then there will be lasting happiness. And that is worth going for because it's true happiness. And then helps you deal with with the aging and the pains and the deterioration of the body with a loving attitude towards your body and the resolution of all the conflict in your mind. Who will not try to achieve that, you know?
See. Yeah.
Yeah, you will get furious sometimes because you will try to do your best and you see that nothing is changing, but it's only you going around with the ego doing the same shit, but with another label, you know, trying to be better. Or you ultimately you will have to understand that people are going to do what they're going to do, but because the script is written. But you will learn to release them all of everything. Starting with yourself or the self that you think you are. And you don't have to pressure this, you don't have to push it, you don't have to work at it. It's like Astrid was saying the other day, it's a matter of readiness in the mind. And that's a decision that you personally don't make.
Right.
Last night I was thinking about the part of the course that is saying the ability to judge or to choose is an ability that you will relinquish gladly when you recognize that you never had it in the first place. So we're borrowing an activity, a mind activity of judging and choosing that has never been ours, but we are tricking ourselves in believing that we choose. And that's a very strong hold for the ego. because he thinks that if he doesn't choose, he will not attain what he needs. And that's the fear of relinquishing. But when you do it and you see that you have done it, it is shown to you that you never had it in the first place. You were agonizing over something that was already resolved and done. And that is the most ridiculous agonizing when you see it as it is.
Mm.
I mean, we all know that the body's gonna die. And then we always trying to protect it, to make it look good, to make it feel good, to make it healthy, you know? And then we all know that our spirit is eternal. Even the most dumb people know that. But they don't do anything to connect to that eternality, even though it's always there.
Sí.
And in a deep sense, that is what this course teaches you to do, while still living in the world. That's why I like Gary's book, because no matter how stupid the question that he presents, the teachers answer, but then they always come back to be practical. You just have to remember this. It doesn't matter what they do. The only thing that matters is what you think about them. And you know, when you hear that for the first time, well, they're good people. No, they're nothing. Like I told you yesterday, either everybody's the Christ or no one is the Christ.
Yeah.
Also, it doesn't really matter what you do in the world. Like, you can do whatever, and then if you were to say something, it would just have to be another forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself for doing that. But
and that's immorality speaking, if you consider it, because there's nothing right or wrong.
There's nothing right or wrong, exacto. But when you think about it, if you sit down and think about it before you do, and you listen, and you see what it really is, and you see that this is just an ego attack, and that you don't want to step into that, then it's like, then I don't need to do anything. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna sit here and extend love, and that's it.
Yeah.
I know that you don't want to listen to the surrogates again, but if you choose to do it, you will enjoy it a lot.
Listen to what?
The new surrogates, the 2020 surrogates.
The movie.
Yeah,
The
David's commentary.
Oh.
So you told me I listened two times is too much.
No,
But
I listened to I listened to 2015.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
listened to 2015, but I listened to 2020. And I bet that it's better this time around.
Yeah, I'll look for it.
If you do that and you see the differences, then you will see how we are always going deeper and more clear into our own healing.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, I listen to these again almost every day. My DVD player isn't wanting to accept the DVDs right now. They listened to one and they said, okay, that's too much for us.
That's too much.
So.
But then in the pen drive, there are like 11 from his that are on.
Okay.
that are very good too. And they are from different época, different times.
Hmm.
So you can hear the changes in his voice and everything.
Yeah.
Like when he was younger, he was older. And there are two that are particularly gems, but they are very long. One is like 19 CDs long. And it's on death.
Oh. Wow.
Death and dying, it's either an end, a continuation, or a beginning, or something like that. Yeah.
Well, they'll last a few walks.
You were going up the mountain and down the mountain. Forget about the sciatica here.
Yeah, right.
The sciatica is gone after that, or you won't be able to walk anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happened.
It's so, you know, I use this word desperate, but it's not really true. But there's a wanting to get this at such a deep level, and yet what it does do for now is it makes the ego so transparent. You know, I mean, yes, I still ask these questions, but they come from a place like, yeah, I could have easily gotten on the phone this morning, even before we talked, and just, you know, kindly as one could possibly be from the ego, ask her, why did you invite me over? You know, but then,
What would be the purpose?
of course.
Exactly. Well, exactly. That's all you have to ask yourself when the ego tells you to seek revenge or explanation or indignation.
Well, and so here's an ego-driven purpose.
Okay.
Her husband is a Feldenkrais practitioner. And I asked him yesterday, so have you stopped doing work? And he said, no, I'm seeing about 3 or 4 people a week. So it's not just me, right? This is what the ego conjures. So it's not just me that's potentially being exposed, but it's a lot of other people. And they don't wear masks and everything is just fine. And they, you know, we maintain social distancing and we, you know, this and that. And it's like, but you haven't had your test result. So the mind's like conjuring up this whole story, right? So yeah, I can see it. But what is harder, and where I started off this morning, is when it's really noisy like that, how do you find forgiveness? And you know, you've answered it, but that's what was really up for me.
You have to recognize this is too painful. I don't know how to deal with it, and I don't want it. Help me.
Mm-hmm.
And when it gets, for me, I have had many very painful experiences when it really gets very, 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 very painful.
Yeah.
And in those times, the last resource given, because it was a given, it was to start thinking with the pain going on for, I don't know if I can explain that, but it's like, okay, I'm in pain, but I'm not in pain alone. Everybody that thinks it's a body is in pain.
Yeah.
So let me bring healing to everybody while I am still in pain. And usually it goes away. It disappears. When you're willing to forget yourself and keep on doing the function. Okay, this is for function. the heck with what I'm trying to avoid. This is the greater the pain, the greater the healing. Even though there are no degrees, you will experience it like that because you put the concept of degrees. This is a excruciating pain. The greater the healing is for you in your experience. And that can be very encouraging when you're going through the pain. Because you will know that as big as the pain is, it can be emotionally or it can be just annoying, you know, questioning the motives of others like you were doing yesterday. But you know that you want to go through it because when you are, and you will be gone through it, the only thing that is eternal is the love that you are. Everything else goes away. So that will give you like a bit of encouragement when you're going through it, knowing that bring it on, I'm here with you. Sometimes I feel myself with this hand with Jesus and this hand with the Holy Spirit because it becomes very, very discomfort. To say a lot of discomfort. It doesn't have to be painful, but it feels like there's something strange going on.
Yeah. So then it would almost appear that if I were to simply just be in this forgiveness process, that there may never come a point where I would talk to them about this.
That doesn't matter. I think it's just
It has
looking
nothing
at,
to do.
I think it's just looking, the discomfort comes from the ego wanting to be right.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying that it just seems that if I go through the healing process, then would there actually even be a need to talk to them at all about it?
You don't know that.
You don't make that decision. You surrender the possibility.
Uh-huh.
What I
So
usually
then,
what I usually do in my mind, if I want to have a conversation with somebody, like Astrid with the letter, I don't write it, I just have it with the Holy Spirit. And just as Astrid has written many letters and dismissed them. So I have the conversation with the Holy Spirit and immediately I know that is not helpful. That will not help anybody. That will not bring healing. That will not bring love. So I surrender it to the Holy Spirit. So in that way, that sense of the ego of wanting to express is diverted to the Holy Spirit instead of to a character in the dream. Most of the time, you will feel that you have no need because you then say, I'm not gonna call, I'm gonna wait for the situation to present itself. I'm not gonna push it. I'm just gonna wait. And in my waiting, when the ego starts, yaba, 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 I take the yaba, yaba to the Holy Spirit. Come and see this with me. Let us see this. Let me see this differently. Why am I still trying to dump on them a situation that is not even real? And usually you find comfort in the Holy Spirit, and then next time you will call on Him faster. And it will be less painful for you. Because you won't be ruminating in the mind for a long time with whatever. Because you will have the conviction that, okay, this is my dream. I wrote the script. I give the characters all the dialogues. all the personalities. I wrote in the script all the situations, even the weather. So I don't have to blame anybody. If I want to wake up, I need to heal this on the level that was produced. And that is the level in which the Holy Spirit only can work. And you see that the ego will start, well, no, you have to go this, do that, da. But eventually, you will be so convinced of the power of the Holy Spirit to heal you, and the you is everything, that you will trust in him more and more and more. And then a phrase that the Course uses, present trust will resolve all problems now, will really have a deep meaning, resonance, and truth to you, to the point that you will be so willingly healing everything at the same moment. Without having to write a letter or call somebody or that thought coming over, that you will be so convinced that the loving power of God is within you and only to heal your mind, that by only in a second of surrendering, that can happen. And it will happen to you when you're ready, and that's all that you desire. And when that happens, next time something happens, you practice it again because you know that it works very quickly and you don't have to tell anybody anything.
Yeah, and be completely honest when you go to the Holy Spirit. At least for me, I just go, this is what I'm seeing, these are my grievances. And just let loose everything. And in my experience, that's the experience, because once you do that, the answer comes really quickly. It's shown, it happens so fast. It's like boom, boom, boom. Even before the thought finishes, the answer is right there.
Yeah.
And then you will see the ridiculousness of the ego thoughts, because you will start seeing them, but why I want to condemn these people? What use do I have for this? Who benefits from that? And you will see, and how the ego wants you to keep condemning people, just to condemn yourself without you knowing that you're condemning yourself. But the detail is now you know. So the ego doesn't have where to hide, because you can see it coming. And you are affected by that, are buying the ego's tale or drama. There's something that knows in you that says to you, here you go again. I mean, you get it. You want to crucify yourself again. And that will stop you.
Yeah.
Because you will be less tolerant with the divagations of the ego, because you will recognize the pain that it causes you.
Right.
Check when the sciatica came and how potent it became, to check if it has anything to do with that visit. Not that we want to analyze things and connect them, but
Yeah.
sometimes you can. Mira, yesterday, there was something so rebellious in me that I wanted to dismiss everything. And what came to me without me planning for it was to write in the notebook what I wrote, which is, I shit in the cunt of the mother of Christ. And I am not, what was the word that I use? It's like I am unaffected by all this shit.
Mm.
It was kind of like the ultimate way, and I can turn the tables on the ego, even on the spiritual ego, you know? And I said, yeah, like it just came out, and I decided, and I photoed it, and I sent it to my daughter, and I put it in the motorhome. And it was funny because something was telling me you're gonna have a kickback, like a whiplash.
Ego whiplash.
Yeah, like 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes after I did that. I felt the most excruciating pain in my whole body, but it was especially in the stomach, the intestine, and the colon. I don't know what was it. It lasted only like 3 or 4 seconds. It was not a gas, of course, because the spectrum of the pain was so overwhelming. And I even to size experienced like trauma, but it lasted so quickly. And I knew that it had to do with that. And it didn't matter. I didn't try to avoid it. I just welcome it, and it went so quickly. I said, this is crazy. Because it went in the moment that I said, I don't care. It took me by surprise. It was so intense, but it took me very little to say, I don't give a fuck. I went away just like that. And then my daughter was so happy for the comment. Yeah, I wanted to convey that this is supposed to be very, very light. And we overwhelm ourselves with thoughts
Yeah.
that are completely unnecessary.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you have to remember that you're not forgiving anything that is real. And I don't remember who's the poet that the five senses are defenses of the ego.
Yeah.
And we have the help. We have to be convinced that we have the internal help to deal with whatever is presented to us. That is so important. The trust. Remember the trust. You're not alone in this. And you're not a body. Nothing can make sense.
Hmm. Yeah.
Did you wash your hands?
Oh, great question.
Ay. Mira, nene, remember that what is for you, it will get to you. It doesn't matter where you hide, you know?
Yeah.
And that is actually true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reverse is equally true. So it makes no sense trying to accommodate, to prepare, to plan, you're invited to a perfect peace right now.
Mm.
But the invitation has to be accepted.
I guess
So therefore, our lesson today is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vamos en inglés. I will stop hurting myself.
See,
That's
I will not hurt myself today.
Yeah, I guess to the point where that place of the experience of the peace that the Holy Spirit brings, you don't want to buy the ego tricks or the pain, and it comes up like the experience that Adriana had. She had that intense pain for like 3 or 4 seconds, and then it was like, no, I'm not going there. I don't want that. It's not a repression, but it's just like I'm peaceful. I'm not gonna buy this lie anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no need for this shit.
Yeah.
But you have to be that vigilant and that quick, even if it's a thought or somebody else, that you don't experience that pain for. And you want to be as quick.
Yeah.
With everything. Because that's the present moment. Anytime you go away with one of those thoughts, you're losing the present moment.
Mm.
Now you're bringing them to the present moment. At first, it is difficult not to associate them with the character in the dream. It's impossible. For some time, and it could be years, you could be experiencing people as people. It doesn't have to be a long time, but it could be an eternal time. Because it depends on you, on what, are you ready? And it always comes to that, I will not hurt myself today again. And myself has to be understood as the whole thing. So you will have to be very vigilant of those thoughts that, mira, look at that one, look at this one, tú sabes. You will have to be very conscious of what you're thinking and keep on correcting them. Not you, but send them to the Holy Spirit. I do not, it's impossible that my true self will understand some craziness like this. So I will not even bother to try to reconcile the concepts or put them in any place or category. I think that's why I use so much the audio of the course, because it helps me to keep on the same train of thought.
When you say the audio, what do you mean by that? Just somebody reading it?
Yeah.
You can get the audio of the course. I have it in English and in Spanish.
Astrid doesn't like it in Spanish. He sent it to
No,
me.
I've been able to forgive that, and I can listen.
Really good.
See, it took me a long time because I bought the English version, and then the Spanish version came out, and I thought, well, better. So I bought and I started to listen to it, and it was It was a man with a Spanish accent, like from Spain. And it just brought all of these feelings of being in church. Puerto Rico, I grew up in Catholic church, and most of the priests in Puerto Rico were at that time, I don't know why, they were all they're Spanish. So I turned it off and I sent it to Adriana. I was like, I can't deal with this shit. I'm gonna continue to listen to it in English. And the same was for the book. I felt like I was reading the Bible because I grew up in the Catholic Church, and so the language just was reminiscent of that. It was so strong. Oh, that forgiveness. So I spent a lot of years studying English, and then several years ago, I get into it with this whole experience. My first language, Spanish, but just in a different way.
Those damn administrators of the course without sensitivity to the proper Spanish and dialects for other areas in Latin America. I don't know if you're getting a good signal, if you can hear me, Astrid, or not.
I don't.
Now it's better.
It's just been since you moved in the house.
That my motherfucker stay put.
Yeah, because I have two Wi-Fis, and it's connected to the one that's not that great. I'll just go outside and be cold.
Or go up on your bed.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything.
Ahora sí que se
Just
jodió.
rolling with it. See?
Ahí está para.
Oh shit.
Ahora, ya, quédate ahí. Hey, párate. Coño.
You probably have to go into settings and change it to the other Wi-Fi.
No, I could change it to the other one, but I don't know if there's gonna be like a lag or anything. Could I do it? I don't know anything about this. The other one is better.
We've been talking about Thanksgiving, and I this morning actually was told that Thanksgiving was tomorrow.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow.
Es mañana.
Okay, good. Because Adriana was coming today. And then she told me that she called me and told me that she's coming on Friday. So it was.
You doing a turkey?
No, for whom? For me.
Well, are people in your house?
There are no other people in my house.
Oh.
No, the guys that live upstairs, they live by themselves. They have an apartment there, and they are, apart. It's like another house. No, there's nobody here but me. Me and the Holy Spirit and everybody else.
Exacto.
And then my kids, they enjoy that I'm not I don't know what to say that. I'm not trying to make them feel guilty because they are not coming over here. So I encourage them to do their things in Tu Sabes. And they take very good advantage of that. Remember the nice conversation that I had with Javier yesterday?
Yes.
He felt so good that he spent the last $80 of food stamps for himself. And I just learned that this morning when Adriana called me, "Where you have no money?" He said, "What?" No, Javier, to do it for him. Good. We share. He used to live here. When I came to Ponce, I really have no income for a long time. So after a couple of months, I decided to request the aid from the government for food stamps, which is it's $100 a month. It's not that much too. And then Javier came after breaking up with the girlfriend in the States and came to live here for a while.
This is a son of yours.
The smallest, sí.
Yeah.
And then we have the same address, and what the agency does is that it gives you the same card for both of you. But then at a moment, when Antonio came, my last husband, that was here for 3.5 years. Well, I reported to the agency, listen, I have no need for this anymore because I'm married and he has a pension, so I do not qualify. So Javier became the sole, let's say, proprietor of the account. So when my husband left and I became like, qualifiable for that, then they put me in his account. So every month I have to coordinate with him so he can spend his $100 and then I can spend mine, which for me is enough because there's really just me. And I eat like once a day and then have a snack in the morning and a snack by 3 and that's it. So it's enough. But I don't know what happened this month that he felt that he had to use it all.
So he used yours.
Yeah. When we had the conversation, he had used like 20 extra. So I said, oh, don't worry, it's okay, I'm good. And then that was yesterday, the day before yesterday, the night before yesterday.
He's
So now
planning Thanksgiving dinner.
this morning, Adriana tells me, no, I can go Friday if you don't have any money left. You spend it all. Well, good. What are we gonna do? And Adriana was kind of surprised. Are you really okay with that? And I said, well, what can I do about it? I am very creative and I can manage to do very nice things with what I have here, And she said, well, I wasn't okay with that. But I said, all right, well, what we're gonna do? What is there to do? I told her, bring me the car, so next month I will get my part before he gets to the card.
Wow.
Yeah, there's an ongoing issue because during the pandemic, they handed out an aid in the island for which he qualified, but he didn't get. And then Adriana and I got it. So this has been going on for many months now. And it was a sizable amount of money for our budget. So yeah, he's always carrying that grudge that we got the money and he didn't, So if it was the other way around, he would not have done that. But he feels that we were benefit and he did not, so he's on the lower hand, you say. And he actually is, he's living in a 3-cuerda countryside that has only a cabin, that has no windows and no doors, no electricity and no running water. and it has like a zinc roof. It's just the wood on top of pillars that are not too secure. There needs to be a work done on that. But then the building is at the end, down and bottom of a mountain, because it's right next to a gorgeous river. One of in the areas that are most pristine of the island, that is next to the rainforest. And the place is beautiful. And, you know, he didn't have to go there immediately, because I told him, listen, stay with us. At that moment. The husband was here, so there was money entering the household. Stay with us, help him in what he's doing, and then bit by bit, we can see what we can get done over there, so you can move and have running water, blah, blah. This was like 2 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 3, 2.5. But he said no, you know. He went there. And it's like a crazy thing, because he always complains about all the work that he needs to do, and how hard it is, and how nobody helps him. Sounds familiar, huh? But I said, listen, open your fucking eyes. You're 25. At 25, you were giving a beautiful property in the island that you would have had to work like 20 years to acquire. And then it was handed to you as that. And it's beautiful where you want to live. And when you ask him, yeah, this is the most beautiful place that I would ever want to be. So stop complaining.
The ego.
So yeah, that's the ego condition. You know, I want what I want, and I want to complain about it all the time.
Yeah. Fun to be a victim.
Yeah, it always plays like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit of family history.
Yep. Yep.
But he only complains to you. He doesn't complain when.
No, he's the sweetest guy for everybody.
With me, it's a whole different story. You know, for me, when he talks to me, it's like he lives in paradise and he has everything, and he does, you know, the way that he presents it is like it's his choice to live, you know, off grid, and he eats from the land, and you talk to him, you're like, wow, that's just amazing.
Huh?
And he talks about like, yeah, you know, he doesn't have running water, but he has the river, and
Yeah.
he's very sweet. He's very sweet.
And then he has the body to withstand those conditions. He's very strong, and he's very agile. I mean, very, very strong. And he loves it because he has this flag of being the most naturalist and the most, you know, the vegan and the earth and the motherfucker. And I say, you dumb shit. I done that 30 years ago already. Don't come preaching to the whatever, to the choir.
Yeah.
I already been there, done that.
Yeah.
He's very sweet. He's very beautiful. He's very talented.
Funny to hear both sides of him, you know, or different sides of him.
Yeah.
No, I know that for true. I know that I am the complaining department. Complaint department.
Sí.
The grudge department, the damn you department, you didn't raise me well department, that you weren't a good mother department, that you fuck it up for me, and now you're quitting life and leaving me. He once told Astrid here, but we were not recording. When my mother found the course, she said, "This is it," and she left everything.
He was saying it as a complaint, and I was like, yeah, exactly.
Ay, that was very funny. Yeah, we have within us the power not to hurt ourselves if we decide to.
Yeah.
And that will bring in us the most beautiful attitudes toward everything. Because those will be attitudes that will be guided by the spirit and not by the ego's wanting to be better than.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's a great place to be. And we are all entitled to it. We have it all at this moment, and it's only for us to give away. Like, and since the course philosophy is right, that in what you give, you're giving to yourself, and you will get to experience that as it is. You will truly will be able to forgive everything. The doubt will not come, because you know that that will give you everything. There's a lesson in the course that says like that: forgiveness gives me everything I want. And it's true when you see really what forgiveness is and see what it is not. But that will take a while because the ego is too invested, you know? You pay too much money building the ego, you won't you won't leave it like that, even though you can say with words and you can ask the Holy Spirit, but you will have to be convinced.
¿Qué? No estoy diciendo nada. ¿No me oye?
Gary, ¿tú me oyes a mí?
Sí.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay.
So yeah, all is good then?
Sí.
Sí.
Much better, much clearer.
Great. We can be grateful for that all
Yes,
the time, all the time, all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's all I asked for. Just more clarity, more seeing truth.
See, that brings us like a lightness and an easy, you know. And watch the ego, because it will always be
Oh, yeah.
you're not good, you're not good, you're not good, motherfucker, you're not good.
Yeah.
We have to say, no, I will not hurt myself today. I will not listen to the ego. My aim will be to listen to the Holy Spirit only and always.
Yeah.
And the course will do that for you.
Sí. Sí.
It's the quickest thing available, tool available. If you really take it to heart and say, I'm going to do this. It will do that for you quickly.
Well, I have to pee.
Good for you.
So I can
We
come
can
go.
say
and-
bye.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Be
you.
well.
Be well.
Bye. Thank you so
See you,
much.
yeah, see you
Yeah,
tomorrow.
buen
Thank you
día.
both.
See you tomorrow.
All
Of
right.
course, Turkey
Bye.
Day tomorrow.
Adiós.
Dale.